y'all. As y'all see, this meeting is being recorded. So we just want to make sure folks know that as we're settling in. Welcome. I am Dr. Rela Violet Botts Ward. I am one of two postdoctoral fellows here at the University of California, San Francisco's Repair Project. And you are at the first, okay, can we say the first Black Feminist Healing Arts teaching series panel. Can we just get some snaps and claps and love for that? Yes. Shout out to all of my beautiful students who I see in the building. Shout out to folks who are Tier 2 self-paced participants who I see in the building. And shout out to community folks who are here to tap in and learn with us. Again, my name is Dr. Rela Violet Botts Ward. I go by Ree for short, so Ree is all good. I use she, her pronouns, and we lean into image description in this space just to enhance accessibility for our folks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my image description and just encourage us as we are moving through this space today to lean into that practice, which means that we just describe how fly we looking and how fly our background is. So I'm gonna give y'all a little example. I am a light-skinned Black girl with some wavy baby hairs and a little mini slick back with a red head wrap over top. I got on some gold earrings with some rainbow colored jewels in them. They're dangling to my shoulders. I got on a little swoop black one sleeve top with a Sankofa tattoo on the left side and a red lip. And my backdrop is my playroom. You can see my little mini library, my pink couch, and all of my fluffy pillows in the background. So again, as we move through this space, just encouraging folks when you unmute to introduce yourself and to do your image background so that we are all here and present fully with each other. Oh, I forgot to say I'm from Philly. I always like to represent that as well. And I love to know where folks are from. So please do, when we're introducing ourselves, let us know who you are, where you're from, what your image description is, and what your pronouns are. All right, now I'm gonna read the little script I wrote to really, really welcome y'all. The Black Feminist Healing Arts Teach-In Series, hosted in partnership with the Black Feminist Healing Arts Communiversity course, Black Women Healing and UCSF Repair, invites folks from the community and folks from the university to learn alongside each other from radical scholars. Shout out to my sisters who are here today, radical scholars, artists, healers, and practitioners about Black feminist approaches to holistic health, communal care, and collective healing. We believe that knowledge must be exchanged across generations and affiliations. So we call forth the mothers, grandmothers, cousins, aunties, homegirls, and friends to celebrate our everyday, round-the-way practices of finding wellness, wholeness, and healing. We welcome all the folks who are students in this course. We welcome all Tier 2 self-paced program participants, and we welcome folks who are new to our community and here to tap in, learn, and grow alongside us. This series frames integrative health and healing as an invitation to bring our whole selves into the room. We invite our healing ancestors, our higher powers, and our younger selves into the room to the extent that it feels safe, comfortable, and appropriate for us to do so. And if none of that feels comfortable for us at this moment, we honor that too. This is also an invitation for us to check in with ourselves and our bodies, to notice what resonates and what don't, and to honor that unapologetically. Everyone may not resonate with every healing modality introduced here, and that's okay. We respect and honor all healing journeys in this space, even those that differ from our own. We stay in our agency and power, trusting ourselves and our bodies to determine what feels right for us in this moment and in this season. To learn more about our course, visit our website. Our syllabus is going to be linked in the chat. Shout out to Adana, who is holding it down with all the tech needs. We appreciate you, sis. To learn more about UCSF repair and Black women healing, those notes will also be in the chat as well. So before we dive in, I do want to begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the Ohlone people who are the traditional custodians of this land. We pay our respects to the Ohlone elders, past, present, and future, who call this place, the land that UCSF sits on, their home. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So now, I'm gonna get into this panel, but I don't think y'all are ready. So I'm gonna just take a breath and I'm gonna invite y'all to take a breath because it's about to be a lot, okay? I got my homegirls in the building today and it's just about to be a lot. So I'm gonna invite y'all to breathe and prepare your hearts, minds, and spirits for a whole vibe, okay? So if we could take a moment to just ground ourselves, if we wanna close our eyes, take a deep breath in and release with a sigh. We could do one more deep breath in and release with a sigh. And shake out whatever you need to shake out to make room for all the goodness. Ashe. So I'm gonna read y'all the little mini bios of my homegirls, but Adana is gonna put in the full thing so that y'all just know how bomb my sisters is. So Dr. Farima Pour-Khorshid was born and raised in the Bay Area, shout out to Hayward, where she later taught at the elementary grade levels in her community for over a decade. She holds a PhD in education and is currently a professor in the teacher education department at the University of San Francisco, not to be confused with the University of California, San Francisco, which so many people often do. But she's at USF, I'm at UCSF, and it's all love. And I love that we both are teaching graduate courses in San Francisco. It's the whole vibe. Dr. Denicia Carlay, also lovingly referred to as Dr. Niche, has served as a family healing specialist within the field of child welfare over the last 16 years. I know y'all thinking the math ain't adding up because sis is about 25. But yes, the last 16 years, Dr. Niche holds a BA from USC, an MSW from UC Berkeley, a PPSC from San Jose State University, and an EDD from San Francisco State University. And also is a LCSW. I tried to warn y'all. So the reason why I love my friends so much is not because they so like degreed up and accomplished on the bios, right? Like, yes, for all of that. But also these are my soul sisters. And when I was thinking about how to start this Black Feminist Healing Arts series, I was like, we got to start with sisterhood, right? Because we've been talking about communal care. And, you know, I was doing a lot of theorizing on communal care and writing and scholarship of communal care. But what I wanted to bring to life with this panel is like, what do it really look and feel like in action? And these are my sisters who support me in bringing that to action. So I'm going to ask if we can be pinned now, if we can have me, Niche, and Farima pinned, and we are going to go ahead and get this panel going. So the title of our panel is Sisterhood, Integration, and Wholeness, how communal care serves as an antidote for disassociation, disconnection, and spiritual depletion. And I'm gonna give us 1 second because I think our y'all let me know if we pinned or not. And if we need a oh, here we go, spotlight for everybody. I think our pinning people might need a little support, and it's all good. Okay, here we go. Add the spotlight. There we go.
No, they're both pinned.
Oh, they are. Oh, it's me.
They've been pinned since he introduced them.
Oh, it's me. It's my laptop. I didn't have all of y'all pinned. Okay, let me add the there we go. My bad, y'all. I had it on gallery view because I wanted to see all y'all's beautiful faces, and I didn't realize that I didn't have it on speaker view. Thank you so much, Amy, for holding it down with the pinning. So yes, this sisterhood as an antidote for disassociation, disconnection, and spiritual depletion. And this title came from our sisterhood. It was birthed from what it feels like to be in sisterhood with these beautiful women. So I wanted to open up with a story for y'all, because when I think about our sisterhood and how this sisterhood particularly invites me into my wholeness and my fullness, I think about our bridesmaids retreat. So I got married in August. Yay. Shout out to my boo. I love my husband. And these two beautiful women, along with Marileen and Nikki, our other two sisters, were my bridesmaids. And when I was thinking about like this process of getting married and what I really wanted to, like the sisterhood that I want to curate, right, around this huge transition in my life, I was like, I don't want to do like a bachelorette weekend. I want to do a healing retreat. So instead of like whatever the typical bachelorette weekend is, we did a bridesmaids healing retreat, and it was called the Whole Bride Sisterhood Healing Retreat. And while I was on that retreat is when I got the email that I had got an interview for this repair postdoc that I have right now. And when I tell y'all, we was on that retreat twerking and dancing and turning up, I said, I got an interview. So we was lit on the retreat and we was dancing. I was like nervous. I was like, y'all, I don't know how to step into this interview. Like some of my students know, but I did my PhD in African diaspora studies. My dissertation work was all about Black women and our healing. And I was like, I don't know how much of myself I should be. Like, should I change myself to fit into who I think they want me to be? And it was my sisters who told me, like, no, be yourself. Like, go into that interview as you. Tell them exactly who you are. Tell them exactly what you're envisioning for this experience. And just trust, like have faith that you being yourself will open the doors that God has for you. And now we are here. And so I'm so honored to like start this teaching series with them, because they gave me permission to step into this postdoctoral fellowship in my fullness. So I want to share, I just want to share my screen real quick and share with y'all just a little bit of our retreat. So I'll do a brief image description. So there is 6 images on the screen. The top left is all 4 of us in the Charlie's Angels pose. We were channeling our inner teenager there. The next picture to the right says, that's my sis. Hey there, little brown girl. And it's us with all of our stuffed animals, because we had an inner child day at the retreat. And then we did the mall pictures, which is to the right, which is us like with our hands on our chins, like the little mall photos. With the classic Brandy sitting in my room pose is what it says at the bottom. Then it's Niche and Fadi on the swings having fun. Then is an image that I drew inspired by Farima. That's just her floating on water. And then the last image is the trees and our bridesmaids PJs, which says sisterhood on the back. So I just wanted to kind of give y'all a glimpse into what this retreat looked and felt like, and just express deep gratitude. Like I want to start start this panel off with deep, deep gratitude for y'all's love and y'all sisterhood. So with that, I know I done said a lot. I want to invite you to introduce yourself and all of your parts, all of those who are in and around you, all of those that guide you, protect you, and live alongside you. So your inner family, your inner guardians, your grown-up self, your inner child self, your inner teen self, your inner elders, ancestors, gods, whoever you feel moved and called to introduce us to. So we could start with Fadi and then go to Niche.
I just want to say I feel so honored, y'all, just to share space in this way. And so my name is Farima, and I am here with baby Fadi, who is very spunky, loves to take up a lot of space and be on screen. So she is so happy to be here. Teenage Rima, who is very fierce and feisty, got an attitude and very rebellious, but with a cause. College girl Farima, who is always curious of trying to find different parts of herself and grow into her becoming different visions of who she wants to be. And grown and sexy Dr. Farima, who is embodying not just degrees, but really just all of the different iterations of herself and trying to figure out what it means to show up fully in all aspects of her life, professionally and personally. And the wise elder Farima, you know, since a little girl, baby Fadi always wanted to dress like the wise elder Farima. She loved pearls and bright red lipstick and loved wearing high heels to school. So this wise elder has been coming out a lot lately and trying to pull me in also into myself, but also my ancestors, my father, my baby brother, Mike, the complicated relationships that I have with some of my elder ancestors that are no longer here, which I'm still trying to work to heal. My own baby girl that I would have had back in high school, who visited me frequently and still often does, who I never got to name, but is very much named in my spirit and in who I am. My close friends and mentors who are no longer here, Thomas Nikundiwe, who shaped so much of who I am as an organizer, Antonio Martinez as well, and all of the angels and ancestors that I don't know by name, but that I feel in spirit all of the time. So I welcome them in this space.
Ashe, sis, thank you.
Ashe, taking a sip of libation in honor of all those amazing
Oh,
ancestors.
damn.
Yeah.
Forgot to do that. I heard I had to get libation.
So yes, to all of those ancestors that are here with us right now, just ashe, ashe. So what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Like this is incredible. I've been looking forward to this moment. Ree has been talking about this, manifesting this, envisioning this, and like Fadi said, just so honored to be here in this. It already feels like sacred space. And that's in large part because of the energy that each of you are bringing. So thank you. Thank you for showing up in your fullness. So, all right. I brought Lil Bunny. So Lil Bunny is 3 years old. She is full of joy, y'all, like full of imagination. She cannot have a bad day. She got her magic wand and her cape and her blankie, and she is just good to go. Yes, that is Lil Bunny. And I also have Yada Da Niche, teenage Niche, ride or die, you know, just ready to be by your side no matter what. And I've just, through this sisterhood, I've just had so much more sacredness for Yada Da Niche. And she's really feeling that extra love and compassion inside of me. I also have teenage Bun, college Bun. And she a hot mess, but we still working through all of her things. And she just has so much abundance to show from those years through our son and through all of the goodness that's come from that. And then I have Dr. Niche, who's here with y'all today, with my sisters on the screen, just honoring our doctoral journey. I saw someone say, it's the doctorates for me. And I was like, yes, girl. Like, I would not be here today without a village of Black women that supported me through that process. And I would not be where I'm at in my womanhood and my doctoral wisdom and all of that without the women on this call. We are constantly checking in with each other, pushing each other. Like Reese said, she got that call about this and she was like, I got people in front of me that have taught at university. Like, what do I need to do? And it's like, yes, to just instantly have that resource. Like, that's everything. I also have Mama Nama. That's my elder niche. And she represents these dreads of wisdom and love. And she's just floating on a cloud at all time and like perfect peace. And I also brought with me Adelaide. And so Adelaide is my sacred ancestor. She goes back as far as I can have found on my paternal lineage. And I was in like this really interesting healing journey last year. I had a lot of inflammation in my body. I developed an autoimmune disorder and just all kinds of different things. And when I was looking and searching for relatives, Adelaide popped up. And her slave papers showed that she had high inflammation, that she had all these different things going on. And she instantly like jumped out to me. And so Adelaide has been so precious and special in my healing journey. And I'm just so grateful for Adelaide Cormier. And I also have my papa, Ernest Morel, Ashe, in this space with me. It is his birthday on Friday, y'all. So he has been dancing in my dreams and in my house all week long. I just hear, yes, baby girl, all the time right now. And Grandma Fanny Hertz, who established our matriarch line here in Oakland, California. Shout out to the Bay. Migrated here from Louisiana, and just all that she represents in like my strength and my nurturance and all of that. She had 9 kids back in the day when you had 9+ kids, and she did the damn thing as a single mom and all of that. And there's just so many other sacred ancestors that are just constantly around me. Lila Mae Cormier, my grandmother on my father's side, and Leroy Cormier, and just appreciation for being in relationship with Rhea and Fadi, because I've been able to be around their ancestors showing up when we hang out together and just feeling the love and joy that they bring too. And sometimes it can be scary, right? So also learning how to have boundaries with your ancestors as well. And so again, all of that has been cultivated in this sacred sisterhood. So I'm grateful. I see you, Candace. Yes, to the Ernest grandfathers. Such a strong name. Ashe.
Ashe, thank y'all so much. And I just want to give quick image descriptions of my beautiful friends as well. So Farima has on a black t-shirt that says Sisterhood in white, which I love, and some triangle shaped earrings with some gems in them. And we got matching red lips on, and she got her signature side part swoop side ponytail with the curls. And Niche has beautiful past the shoulder sister locks with some blonde tips, brown and blonde and black, with a red hat and a white
braids underneath the hat.
Okay, and some grays underneath the hat, and a beautiful rose on her white sweatshirt. But thank y'all so much. And I'm just want to also introduce my baby girl Britt, who my friends know very well. She is so wise, beautiful, powerful, rambunctious, and creative and inquisitive. Reese's and Reese, who are like little twin adolescent, teenage, sassy, round away, want to fit in, want to be cool, but love to just hang and be up around. College girl, Queen Ree, Sassy Ree, Baby Brit, Granny Ree, who is my inner elder, my ancestors, Grandma Mamie, Granny Annie, so many of my lineage, but they are kind of the ones who are here with me now. So Ashe, and thank y'all. So if y'all could tell us a little more about who you are now, what you do, and how sisterhood invites you to show up in your fullness in the work that you do personally and professionally. So I'm thinking about our Tuesday calls, y'all. Like every Tuesday, we just work together. We have a little Zoom call. We share about what's coming up in our work, what we're feeling stuck and stressed about. And then we kind of lean into like getting work done together and then processing what's coming up around our work. So yeah, just wondering, what does that look and feel like? And Nish, I know you have your video. You want me to share it now? Or you want to introduce yourself and then you can introduce your video and then I'll share it.
I'll do that. So what I was reflecting on, Ree and Fadi, I didn't even get to name this when we were preparing, but I created this organization, Village is Possible, at the whole bridal retreat. I just remember, so basically when we were going to this retreat space, it was like a beautiful 2-3 hour ride from the bay. You were just going through all these windy roads and the hills and the trees. And I just remember just feeling so much love and peace from the space that Ree was curating, you know, for all of us to come alongside her as a whole integrated bride. And I was just like, my village is so lit, y'all. Village is truly possible. I'm someone who has, you know, survived the crack epidemic and the foster care system and sexual trauma and just all these different things. And to see myself in my fullness as a direct result of the women on this screen is just incredible. And so I get to the space, and as soon as I get there, they're like, what's been going on with you? And I'm talking about this image that I'm having about curating this, my own LLC and nonprofit. And we had some time that weekend to just sit with our dreams. And I drew out the entire thing. I drew it out. And that is a beautiful intro into Village is Possible. And I will share the trailer now, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after. And that is me. I'm the CEO and co-founder, along with my sister, the other Reese in my life. And we have created Village is Possible. Is it freezing, sis? Ree, are you seeing it, or am I the only one?
It's frozen for me. Is it supposed to be playing?
It's
Yeah. Y'all can't see or hear it?
No.
Oh, I'm just over here vibing. I'm like, oh, I love this video.
No, Ree, you look like you was really going with something. I was like, is it just me?
I'm hella weak, y'all. I was deep into it. I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. Okay, wait. So y'all didn't see my screen at all?
We did. It just was frozen.
Oh, it was frozen. Oh, Lord. Okay, hold on. Let me. Thank y'all for letting me know. I was just sitting here vibing. I didn't even hear y'all talk to me. Okay, let's try this again. Y'all can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, you can see the screen. Did you hear it?
Press play.
We are the experts.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
For so long, systems have
Nope, we can't hear it now.
I think you need
Ree, I think when you mute yourself, we can't hear the volume.
Oh, Lord, because I thought I was sharing my
the
You are.
there we
Also,
go.
you're gonna have to click the box that says share sound. So you need to stop sharing, reshare it, and then click the box that says share sound.
Thank y'all for y'all's patience, child, because it's been a little minute since I was on the Zoom, but thank you. Okay, there we go. Ashe, thank you. There we go. Let me know.
We are the experts in our experiences. And for so long, systems have negated the lived experience of folks, especially within family. Village is Possible is a new organization that I've created with my sister. We developed this organization so that people who have been impacted either by the child welfare system or sex trafficking or the incarceration system are able to have spaces where they feel heard and loved on and we're able to cultivate healing in collective identity. I really wanted to create like a community-driven approach to be able to reconnect us to our family and to one another and to the earth. So Village is Possible to me is about making those connections, but also helping folks recognize that they have village all around them. To hear more about what is in store through Village is Possible, or to be deeper connected to us in community, you can email me directly, Dr. Denicia. And if you are a holistic practitioner as well and you want to be a part of this village, we are looking for you wherever you are. We are looking for every different types of modality, especially ones that help bring us back into our bodies so we can create safety within ourselves and safety within our village.
Aww.
Take all my money now. Take it all. Take it all. Take it all.
Girl, because I'm writing grants.
I want to join.
So yeah, right now we're in the building phase. We really hope to open up our doors September 1st. I'll drop my, info in the chat. Love to talk more, but like Reese said, the three of us and the other folks that have come alongside Ree's sacred like wedding journey and just the sacred sisterhood, because these two have additional sacred sisterhoods outside of us as well. We all get together on Tuesdays and we work on our master plans basically, and we support each other and we show up to each other's events and we co-facilitate with each other. And it's just been incredible to be wrapped around sisterhood in that way. So yeah.
I appreciate you also naming that niche, because I remember us sitting at the big table and we were manifesting and we were creating and we were naming like our intentions and how we wanted to be more in alignment, like true alignment and bridging the work to like the work, right? And so thank you for reminding me of that. When I think about your question, Ree, about how sisterhood invites me to show up in my fullness in that work, I think about the time that you and I and Asia wrote that article together about critical sisterhood praxis is what we named it. We created our own methodology in research and our own theory, because our lives are living theory. And there was a time in my life where I suffered so much from imposter syndrome. I really didn't believe, as a first generation student who barely graduated high school, by the way, who never intended to go to college, I didn't believe my voice was worthy to be in academic space. And I made a decision, I made the political decision to no longer write in isolation, because every time I would write in isolation, I would hear the voices of abusive educators and scholars who spoke death into my voice, who did not allow me to flourish in my own authenticity. And so it was in the collaborations in sisterhood where I was invited into my fullness, where our healing became the research, where we were able to, in all reality, loot the university resources for our own healing as reparations, because we deserve that. And so often when we read research about our communities, it's damage centered and it talks about us in ways that reinforce like deficit understandings of who we are, of where we come from, of how we be. And so this was like our way of reclaiming space in academia to say that not only are we worthy, but y'all need to hear our voices and learn from our inner children. We even brought in poetry into an academic piece, right? Into this academic journal. And I thought that that was really beautiful. But when I also think about the personal aspect of it, I want to name that since a little girl, I always struggled with my identity. I come from a biracial, multiracial background where I'm half Nicaraguan from Afro descendants. That was always invisibilized and erased because of the internalized anti-Blackness that exists within my lineage, really due to colonization. My own Black grandfather denied who he was because he was put up for adoption because of who he was. And so that really confused my entire being. And so being in sisterhood with Black women who invite me to reclaim parts of myself that are not necessarily easy to access within my own familial dynamics was one way to be more full, to find my fullness on my own terms, and to have people that really see me and that acknowledge me and that invite me into those parts of me that have been abandoned. And I want to just name that all of us, the three of us as first generation PhDs, really dive into our identities in our work as a political act, as a way of saying, look what colonization did to us. And look what we're doing to snatch our dignity back, to snatch our self-worth back, to teach other young Black and brown girls that look like us that they don't have to abandon themselves to be successful, that they can be all of them and be more than successful because they love themselves, not because of the accolades, not because of the recognition, not because of the ways that people pedestalize us, but because we love ourselves. That is the measure and metric of our success. So I'll say that.
You better say that, Fadi.
Ashe, sis. And I will say my inner teenager, one of her proudest moments was seeing Dr. Farima. And Farima's inner teen is Rima. So seeing Rima on stage doing a TED Talk in her J's, okay, with her slick hair and her red lip and her Jordans doing a TED Talk. And Reese, my inner teen, was like, I want to be like Dr. Farima when I grow up. Mind you, this is already my bestie, but I was like, I want to be her when I grow up. And we just processed that night, and I just told her how proud I was of her. And Niche, I have told you this many times, but I have watched you just lean into your fullness by setting boundaries with work. Like, I met you when you were really busy, and you were booked and busy because you so bomb and everybody wanted your time, energy, and attention. And you was out here driving all across the bay all day, every day, trying to be in service of everybody else to the detriment of yourself. And I have watched you transition from that pace into flow, into spaciousness. And I feel so proud of how I have watched both of y'all show up in your fullness in your work through those boundaries and through that unapologetic authenticity. So my next question is around, how has collective healing shifted the landscape of your life? What did your life look like before you found your healing community? And what does it look like now as a result of your healing community? Anisha, I know I already started getting into your response, but I just want to frame this question too for myself, because I remember I went to The Way, which is a church in Berkeley, which was a hub of like where I met a lot of my folks, Monty Lean, Lauren, who introduced me to Farima, who introduced me to Flourish Agenda, which is how I met Niche. So like The Way was really one of my early community spaces. And Pastor Mike did this sermon at church one day, and he was talking about how much we can learn from trees, that like a super tall tree can have height, but if it ain't got them deep roots, it might just with any storm, right, topple over. But the tree that has those deep, strong roots, and how those roots are interconnected with other trees, right? So those roots are your community, are your ancestors, are your soil, deep soil grounding. And that sermon, that was years ago, and it sticks with me to this day because I think about what my life was like before sisterhood, and I was in isolation. I wanted to be famous. I wanted the accolades. I wanted to be the tallest tree in the land, but I didn't have like that sort of like firm grounding in community. And now, like ever since that sermon, I've always said to myself, like, I just want to grow deep roots, and I would trust God with the rest. I ain't trying to grow high no more. I'm too short anyway. I just want to be on the ground. I just want to be grounded. I just want to be rooted. I just want to deepen these roots. Like that is all that I'm deep invested in right now, is just strengthening these roots. And that is like what this sisterhood has gifted me and given me. So I'm just wondering if y'all can share a little about like what was life like for you before and now that you have like the healing communities that you are in now.
Yeah, I love how, Ree said it. I think she had claimed it as like, I went from basically like a hustle to flow, to use healing-centered engagement terminology and such, but just like this busyness to a stillness. That's what, because, you know, Ree got away with words, from busyness to stillness. And just really recognizing like how important boundaries are, y'all, like, and especially as Black women, like we just by nature, we're conditioned, you know, to give and to pour and to nurture and to do, right? I used to talk all the time about like my early template of what it meant to be a strong Black woman is my grandmother. And she took in her, you know, she raised her kids and she took in her grandkids when her children were unable to raise us. She's taken in extended family members. She was a early childhood educator for 30 plus years. She commuted an hour and a half to get to work, all this stuff. She was up before everybody. She ended the day. I never saw her sleep. We used to joke and say that she thought sleeping was a sin. And, you know, the ways in which we internalize those messages. And I had gone and just kind of adopted that same kind of energy and lifestyle. And in many ways, it benefited my community because I was able to show up in magical ways. But in other ways, I didn't realize that the toll that it was taking on my body, on my energy, on my psyche, on my spirit. And then when I met these women, and was able to get into somatic abolitionist work and to like be able to claim like what's happening and identify what's happening inside of my body and how can I track it and how can I slow it down so I can really be present. And I get to choose which version of niche shows up, right? And being able to be introduced into inner child healing work and go to workshops with Ree and Nikki around the wounds that we have of growing up in dysfunctional families and being able to speak those affirmations into ourselves. It's just been so many different iterations. Like Ree said, we got introduced to each other through an organization called Flourish Agenda, which I'm in Flourish's office right now. Shout out to Flourish. And from there, it was like this ripple effect, right? Like we met each other and then we met Tiara, who for me did a lot of introductions into land rituals, right? What it really means to pour back into the land and to ground yourself in the energy of Pachamama and to have honor and, you know, accolades to all of our natural environments. And once you start paying attention to those things, you realize that you have a resource all around you, especially in the town. Like, oh, I'm over here in Jack London Square staring at the water and behind me are the hills, and just being able to feel all that energy of those ancestors flowing through us. There's always village all around us that we can tap into to be healed. And that's something that I was never still enough to recognize before meeting these women. And so they've just been such an integral part to my healing journey. And I'll close, you know, to carry through the tree journey that, yeah, it's about establishing deep roots. But now that I'm someone who's more connected to land and I'm a gardener, I've also come to understand how important it is to make sure that your soil is good. And so what are we pouring into our soil? Are we fertilizing it in the right way? Are we watering it in the right way? Are we giving it the sunshine that it needs for those roots to grow deep into the soil and for the, you know, the vegetables and everything else to come up from it? And so I just want to leave you with that, like, tend to your soil. Be still and tend to your soil and see what you need.
I say to all of that. I love this question because it allows me to do some retrieval work around how far I've come. I've been reflecting on that so much. And I want to name that I am somebody who navigate a lot of dysfunction. I'm gonna breathe through this response. And when you grow up in a lot of dysfunction, it's hard to build discernment sometimes around what is healthy sisterhood and friendship and what is codependency and martyrdom. And I think now being in the healthy sisterhood that I have, I've been invited into a different way of being. I've been invited into rewiring my whole nervous system. I've been invited into having healthy boundaries, not as electric fences to keep people out, but as invitations to learn how to love me better and for me to learn how to love others better. It's a completely different orientation. And I think that when I think about just even us three, right? Like I remember, Ree, there were, you know, when we go on trips together, I love that we can go on trips together and we have alone days and together days. That's a new concept for me. I thought when you go on trips, everything y'all do got to be together, but it invited me into another way of understanding I could meet my needs while also having fun with you. And it don't have to be all one way or the other. I don't have to abandon myself in order to be with you. Like that was new for me. When I think about us at the retreat, Niche, like, you know, we went off and we took our walks as needed. I would come back and turn the corner and I'd see Ree like coloring and painting and doing what she needed, people taking naps when they needed. There wasn't this way where it's like all of us have to be doing the same thing. And I just realized that I came from a place of like extreme martyrdom. Like I felt like I had to save everybody around me. Nobody asked me to save them, but it was a way for me to not have to do the interior work within myself around just how anxious and dissociated I would be trying to serve everybody else and trying to save everybody else. And so what does that mean? It means that I have space to save myself now, to see all the different ways that I needed to create space so that I can also have time to heal. I think about when I was navigating extreme trauma from being an organizer, and I was navigating death, I was navigating extreme forms of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional forms of abuse. I didn't even feel safe in my own body. And I was still trying to make every single meeting, go to every single harm circle. And I remember, you know, pausing me and saying, I love you so much. And I want you to just take a pause and think about how you can slow down and be with yourself right now, because this is a lot. And you helped me to draft an email to say, I am so sorry, I cannot come to this meeting. And it was a very small thing, but it was a huge thing for me. And so for me, when you cultivate healthy sisterhood and spaces for healing, that means that when I am abandoning myself, I know that my sisters are going to see me and they're going to hold me and they're going to love me through it. I know that when I'm in those spirals of shame where I can't see myself in the ways that my sisters see me, they're going to snatch me up and they're going to say, we love you and you are so worthy and everything you have to say is important. I know that you're going to read my teenage journal and affirm her, even when I had shame around some of the things that she was spiraling about at that age. Like there's these aspects of healthy sisterhood that invite you to reclaim your spirit, that are so necessary when you have been victimized by narcissistic friendships, by no fault of other folks, right? Like there's a fine line between understanding context of people's trauma and how it shows up externally and accountability. And then knowing when it's time to like retire the ride or die friend cape. I don't want to be ride or die no more. I just want to ride and thrive. I don't want to die. You know, I'm trying to live, right? And so I think that's what this new healing landscape has done for me. It's invited me into a new way of understanding myself and being in the world. And I'm so grateful for that.
I feel like we can make a whole line of t-shirts off of a gang of one-liners that Fadi done dropped tonight.
Period. Fadi, stay with the t-shirt one-liners. Thank you, sis. I'm just also thinking about how for me, before I found sisterhood, like I just felt like I had to be impressive. Like I thought people would want to be my friend if I could impress them. And I've been a poet, spoken word poet since I was young. And so I was like always like known for that. And I always thought that's why people wanted to be my friend, because I was impressive and what I could do and, you know, take out the Trick and Pony show and like, look at me, I'm so great. Don't you want to be my friend? And Flourish Agenda was the very first space that I ever stepped into where I didn't like step in as like this impressive person. Like I always had in my mind, any community I would step into, I was like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to impress them so they'll like me and so they'll be my friend. And when I stepped into Flourish Agenda, I was like a volunteer. I didn't know nobody. Nobody knew me. I just was kind of in the corner, just kind of helping. And people liked me and they wanted to be my friend. And I was like literally confused. Cause like, they don't know, like, I haven't tried to impress them. Why do they want to be my friend? And it helped me understand, like, oh, people like my spirit. Like, I could just be like, people will like want to be my friend if I don't like show them all of my talents and my gifts. Like, I don't have to perform for them. I could just like be myself. And my inner teen still kind of says like, I still never even like did my impressive things for my friends yet. You know, like my friends still ain't never like seen me try to impress them. And they've been my friends for all these years now. And they just like really love who I am. And that gave me permission to just be like, that is so like, I can literally just be the spirit that I am, the soul that I am, and not like these titles and these accolades and these things that I've like been praised for, right? Because our society like praises these ways of being that are rooted in like producing and like proving yourself, right? And like when I'm with my friends, I could just be, and it gives me permission to like not be performing. There's a poem in my book I say like, I've been performing my whole fucking life, and my friends give me permission to not perform. So the last question, and again, I see that we are on CP time. My students who like, Dr. Ree, ain't we supposed to start class in 1 minute? We're gonna be a little late today. All right, y'all just rock with us because the gems gotta be dropped. So we're gonna go a little overtime today, and y'all just rock with us, and I appreciate y'all for understanding. But I gotta get to this last question, and then I gotta make a little time for Q&A, and then we're gonna wrap up. But it's church service. Y'all know church be going over, so it's gonna do what it's gonna do. Sacred medicine is being offered up, and we just gonna receive it. So the last question is, how does sacred sisterhood invite us deeper into embodiment? So y'all know that I struggle a lot with disassociation. My friends know, and I talk about it a lot, that my disassociation is like really, really intense, like all the time. And I'm like a very high functioning disassociator. So like, I'll be the only one knowing that I'm disassociated. Nobody else will know. And my friends, knowing that about me, they kind of like invite me into my body, like just being in their presence, even if it's virtual. So I'm thinking about like how we ground each other, how we hold each other, how we cry together, how we float, watching Farima like float on water in oceans in Jamaica and Mexico, like just watching how her body trusts the water to hold her, like those things invite me into embodiment. And I'm just thinking about these moments when we've held each other in tears, like lamenting sessions. Marty Lean gave us this word, like lamenting, when like there's like deep, dark, ugly pain that needs to move out of my body, and I can't do it alone. Like I cannot access those ugly parts of myself because I don't feel like it's safe to do alone. So I need y'all to create the container. And when we come together and create that container, I'm able to access pain that lives in my body that I can't access alone. And when I access that pain, like y'all hold me and let me scream and cry and let my body shake and let it come out. And y'all pray over me and y'all hold me. And I've watched us do this for each other over the years, and just the ways that our bodies kind of like release shit together is really powerful. And so I'm just wondering if y'all can kind of speak to that sort of embodied experience of sisterhood.
Yeah, I think so much about moments where you and I both have been dissociated, and how we invite each other into mantras. I am here, I am safe, I am loved, I am here, I am safe, I am loved, I am here, I am safe, I am loved. And having those practices with each other to normalize that you're not alone and that we got each other. I think about moments where, if I'm being completely honest, when I am around people who know me from a different iteration of myself, it feels so hard to be myself in front of them. It feels like I have to travel back to that older version of myself in order for them to feel comfortable, for me to have permission to feel comfortable. And I've learned through our sisterhood that if my body does not feel safe to show up fully in those spaces, that actually part of my embodiment is having the boundaries to know when to say no and to invite myself into my fullness, because I deserve to show up as myself all the time. That for me is also embodiment. I think about how even in our work sessions, how sometimes spirit be moving and we got deadlines, but we like, we need lifelines. So we're gonna pray right now. We're going through some things right now, and we're not going to perpetuate this white supremacy culture of and hyper capitalistic ways of being of like, let's just get it done because of these deadlines when our spirits are hurting. That's what murders our spirits, right? And so the times where we say we're going to pivot, let's take time to pray, and how those prayers turn into what you just named, weeping sessions, calling out, naming what we need. I remember talking to y'all when I was in the hospital, weeping, saying, I feel broken, and how y'all invited me into being in my rage and being in my weakness, letting it be there, and then coming back for myself, knowing that it is safe for me to go there and then come back for myself because y'all were on screen right there with me. I was safe. I had y'all. So I just think about how when you have people in your life that you can reach your most deepest, vulnerable places of yourself, the parts that you are always so scared to share because you don't know and can't trust that people can hold that for you. That invites me into embodiment and invites me into the fuller parts of myself, because I know that the more I can go to those hard places, the more I can be fully myself. And we talk a lot about toxic positivity. We talk a lot about how, you know, it's going to be all right. We're going to get through it. Yes, it will be all right. And also right now I'm hurting and I need to cry, and I just need you to witness me. And in you witnessing me, you allow me to be embodied in all of the emotions, the full range of human emotions that I deserve to feel to be fully human. So I'll just stop there.
So I don't know if y'all noticed right now, but when Fadi was like pouring all of that out, me and Reese started rocking. This is an embodiment. This is self-soothing. This is letting her know that we are here, that we got her. We're taking breaths with her, right? And all of this helps you feel like Fadi said, like safe enough to purge. And that's really what it is. We come from peoples that have not been allowed to purge the things that have happened to us. And when we repress those emotions, they become trapped energy inside of us. As Ms. T says, these low vibrations are constantly circulating in our energy fields. This shame, this guilt, this sadness, this fear, this anxiety. This is not who you are. And so being able to have those moments of true sisterhood to come along and help you move that energy through, as Marilyn would talk about, it's transformative. And like Fadi said, Reese said, you can't do it alone. Like if you try to do this by yourself, you're just going to be rocking in a corner, you know, having all these negative thoughts and not having anybody to hold you in them. And so being able to have true village in the space, to be able to lay hands on you, to be able to rub your arm and massage those kinks out, to be able to pray over you, to be able to hum. Just humming alone, that activates our vagal nerve, right? That helps calm our body and lets our body know that we're in a safe space. And when our body knows that we're in a safe space, then that's when we can really process and make sense of what's going on. I also am thinking about just how much more we've been able to connect with nature and animals through our sisterhood. We have these sacred like animal cards that we'll bring out to our retreats, because you know, renamed it. Like we started off with a retreat when she got married, but we've been retreating, y'all. We realized how beautiful and healing and magical. We're retreating next weekend. And to be able to have these medicine cards that come in and speak to you of like what your ancestors are saying, you know, to you in those moments, what seeing a deer represents, how we saw a deer that day that she got the call about getting this job opportunity, and deers represent abundance, right? And then we saw multiple deers and they came out and they was hanging with us. We was like, Ree, how much money you about to be making, girl? And it's this whole different way of, again, like when you're able to come into your body and ground, you can see all the resources that are all around you. And when you do that in a communal practice, it's even more deep. And when we do those things, they start to get embedded into our nervous system, right? Because we're hardwired around our trauma. Like this is real science, right? So when you have these opportunities to have these embodiments to go into your body, it's literally reprogramming. Because now when you get triggered by somebody saying something, or you're in a space with friends that, you know, expect you to be or act a certain way, you get to like have that hypervigilance, but then you get to have that, oh, but I got my sisterhood, like, and they told me that I can just be me, that I don't have to be the life of the party today. I'm tired. And then you get to stand in that. And so the ways in which our embodiment practices have really grounded us in our identities and our sense of self, in addition to giving us those opportunities to truly lament and move energy and let things out through our complex trauma, is remarkable.
Ashe, thank y'all so much. And I'm just also I didn't add this as a question, but I want to throw this out as my question for the Q&A section. Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm gonna throw a question in there. It's about ancestors, like how ancestors be so present. Niche, you mentioned it, but like they know my Granny Annie. Like I know Farima's brother very well, and Mike be playing all the games, y'all. He is a jokester, he is a trickster, and he just makes me laugh every time I like encounter him. Mind you, I've never met my Granny Annie in this realm. I've never met Farima's brother in this realm, but these are ancestors that I know, like that I have relationships with. And Adelaide too, when Niche brings Adelaide, and when you brought your doll, sis Brit was like, go get my doll. So I got my Carisha, Felicia, LaViolet, and this is baby Brit. So, but these are also ancestral.
Mine too, but I'm in Chicago, but she usually is.
She here, little Minnie here with us, sis. And I want to shout out my baby girl chain, and shout out to my sis Candace, who's in this class, because I got Candace this necklace as well. So I love this chain and I put it on my baby girl. But I'm just thinking about how ancestors and inner family members be hella present with us, and how that is crucial to our sisterhood, and how the relationship between our inner child and our ancestors be so like potent when we're together, and how our inner family members and our ancestors be like communicating across energies and spirits when we are like creating those containers for each other. So that's just a question that I'm throwing out. I'm also just thinking about that as a way to understand integration, right? Like we're talking about sisterhood, integration, and wholeness, how our ancestors and our inner family members invite us to be in our wholeness, and how our sisterhood invites all those parts of ourselves to live and thrive unapologetically. So anyway, don't respond yet. We're going to open up for the Q&A. I know y'all been waiting. My students, thank y'all for being patient. It is church and we running over time, and I appreciate y'all's patience. So beautiful family who is here with us, feel free to turn your camera on if you feel so moved. And we are just opening it up now for questions. And we're going to take all the questions all at once, and then do kind of like a final round of comments. We ask that you keep it to 30 seconds, and Adana will be keeping time. So Adana, go ahead and get that timer ready. I see Candace with a hand up. So we'll go to Candace, and Adana, go ahead and get us together. Hi, sis. So good to see you, boo.
Hey, y'all. Much love, much love. Love the conversation happening here. Ladies, sisters, thank you so much for your time and your space. I really do appreciate y'all. I would just ask very quickly, like, what was a moment in your journey, either individually or as a collective, like as sisterhood, in your sisterhood, that you knew was like like you could tell it was like a pinnacle shift for you. Like I don't know how to explain that, but like just individually, like on a collectively, like what was a moment for you that really brought y'all together, or maybe on an individual plane, like drew you closer to your sisters? You knew that you needed that foundation, you know. What was the call, you know?
Thank you so much for that question, Candace. I thought I also seen Jess. Jess, did you also have a question? Or if anyone else has a question, go ahead and raise your hand.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I
there you
do.
go. Hey, sis.
Okay. Do you want me to say the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Good to see you,
First of
sis.
all, yes, love is witnessing. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful to see this space and just all the taking all the magic. My question is similar, but it's more about, did anything ever come up for you with your past experiences of sisterhood or relationships or other dynamics, and just kind of learning the technology of intimacy and trust, and it's like that vehicle, that feel that kind of keeps our relationships healthy and thriving, or grow in a space of growth, as you were talking about tending to your soil. But I feel like intimacy is a technology, almost. It's so intricate, right? And it's like something we have to learn and unlearn a lot of facets. So I'm wondering about how that process was for you in the realm of trust and consideration of not knowing each other, passive iterations of each other, and how did you all convene in alignment to today, and the closeness that is so palpable and tangible and seen. So does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much, Jess. I'm gonna come to Ash, and then we'll have Smiley as our last question. Hey, sis, good to see you, Ash. You still muted, Ash. Let me know if you ready or you want me to swing back to you. Oh, Lord, sis, it's a little breaking up.
Can y'all hear me? Am I stuck in the matrix?
You was in the matrix, sis. You was in the matrix. You want to
Can you
put
hear me
your,
now?
I think so.
I know, and I'm so mad because I was like, of course.
Oh, we lost you again, but try to turn your camera off. Okay, I think we lost Ash. We gonna go to Smiley. Hopefully we'll get Ash back. Hey, Smiley. Smiley, you ready? Oh, there you go.
There. Oh, yep. Sorry, I'm here. I
Hey,
think
sis.
one of my questions was actually, or I don't know if it's a question, but I know for me personally, I've always had a problem finding sisterhood with Black women. Honestly, that's been like my hardest situation, and usually the kind of like negativity that I've experienced has been from Black women. And so I was just wondering how how y'all deal with that, or how you allowed yourself to like trust the moment, right? And not bring whatever was before.
Thank you so much, Smiley. And Ash, we gonna come to you and try to turn off your camera. That might help.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sis.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm not tech savvy. Just want to say thank you for this space, this time, this grace. My question goes out because I felt like it really was church, because y'all were hitting some real stuff when you talk about work-life balance and having boundaries. So when you speak about sisterhood, and I'm hearing that it's like later on in your adulthood, how do you guys like make friends, period? Like, I'm so sorry, but I just feel like, damn, like I'm over here like where, like I feel like I'm like looking at this like it's something unobtainable, but I'm like, it just sounds so good to be true. So like, can you just give us some, some little pointers? Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much, Ash. And thank you to everyone who asked questions. Honestly, I hope that y'all find friends here. Like, this is a room full of Black women, women of color, folks of color who are showing up for their healing. Please slide in DMs. Please get a sis, a homie, homegirl number. Like, this is a space to cultivate and curate sisterhood. So I hope and pray that y'all use this. Ash said, call me. Come be my friend. Call me. But thank you so much for that, Ash. I just want to turn to Fadi and Niche to respond to any of those questions and any final thoughts, reflections that you want to share as we close up. Again, thank you to all my students for your patience. We're going to begin class real soon.
I actually love these questions so much because I was worried, even as we were talking and reflecting, that for some folks, that's been really difficult to find people that you can feel like you can trust to let your guard down, especially people who have been hurt in sisterhood in the past. And so I think what has helped me is the invitations that we give each other. Number one, we found each other in similar interests. We all wanted to heal. We were all already part of healing spaces because we've been trying to do a lot of unlearning. We've been trying to do a lot of purging. And so because we were already going to these community spaces and being part of these spaces, it helped us to find each other. That's one. I think two is even in our sisterhood, we invite each other into accountability. And so I think the more you name, like, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I need. I remember literally just a few days ago, y'all, we were on a call and I was just saying, like, I don't want to be this kind of person. Like, this is who I want to be, but right now that's not where I'm at. And being able to reach a level of vulnerability where you can share with your sisters, like, I'm not where I want to be, but help me, y'all. Like, it invites me, being vulnerable invites them into their vulnerability. It gotta be reciprocal, because if I'm always the only one that's vulnerable and it's not being mirrored back to me, that don't feel safe for me. It feels like now I'm the one that's getting saved. And I don't want y'all to save me. I want us to be in solidarity in our healing journeys. And then that also means that all of us got to be doing our own work. I want to name that all of us are in therapy. In some ways, multiple forms of therapy. So I'm not going to rely on my friends to be my containers all the time. Like, it's unfair to always dump on my friends. And so I've noticed that even in our friendships, there is consent involved. It's, sis, do you have the capacity for me to process? Sis, I'll set the timer for 2 minutes. I won't go over. This is what I need. I actually don't need advice, sis. What I need is, right? And so practicing how to name with your friends the kind of friendships and parameters that you want to be in vulnerability and intimacy around helps to kind of build the muscle that you're trying to have to go deeper and deeper, because you don't just dive straight in the first time. That can be a red flag if we're being honest. And so I think a lot about like, where do you want to find your people in common interest? How do you make sure you're not always having hard conversations too? Where are the ways that you can be in joy and practice levity together and have fun and curiosity and adventure together too, right? Because if our friendships are only about the hard healing work, that is exhausting. And I don't know that I have capacity to have hard friendship dynamics all the time, right? And so I think envision for yourself, how often do we take time to envision, what kind of friend do I want to be? What kind of sister do I want to be? And what kind of sisterhood do I want to curate for myself? And what does that require of me in order for me to have that in my life? Because it requires work. It requires, it requires labor on our part, labor of love, absolutely, but labor nonetheless.
Sis. And it just had me thinking about reciprocity as a big thing. Like, reciprocity has been huge, because I was a toxic friend in the past and I was not reciprocal. I was a receiver and not a giver. And I would attract the givers, and the givers would be giving to me and I wouldn't give in return. And my friends taught me how to be reciprocal, how to just say, hey, sis, how you doing? Just checking on you. Like, I didn't know how to be a friend, and they actually taught me how. And I'm also just thinking about how we can have honest conversations about how we feel about each other. Like, me and Fadi have, like, I remember vivid moments where I was like, sis, I just want to tell you, like, how I'm feeling about you right now. And that's good, beautiful. And sometimes like, this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And that's okay. And that actually deepens the friendship, because when we're able to be that honest with each other, we're able to like feel closer and like move like to another layer and another realm of the sisterhood. But go ahead, Nisha, I'm gonna pass to you.
Y'all said it. I mean, we have all been harmed in Black sisterhoods, and we've all done harm in Black sisterhoods, you know, because we're all operating the best we can, but we're all operating from a trauma response. And when I met both of them, I remember what attracted me to them was that the insecure parts of me felt nurtured and protected by who they were and how they were showing up. And that wasn't something that I have a lot in other friendships. And so it kind of goes back to that whole part that we've been talking about this whole time. Like when you find someone where you're like, oh, wait, I can like not be funny all the time, or I can cry sometimes, or I can be hella emo, and like, you're still going to love me in these different ways, in these different spaces. And the shared language, like Fadi said, we are all in different healing circles, and light attracts light. And that's kind of how we met. And we've also met sisters in healing circles where there was a lot of trauma and darkness and burned us. And, you know, I know that I was coming out of a really traumatic healing sisterhood when I, you know, got closer to the two of them and our two other sisters. And so being able to have those pieces of you that you're like, okay, my little bunny self is going to be full of joy and light, and that's just who I am. But my Yada Denicia self is going to be like really skeptical because I've been hurt and jumped and all these different things, right? And they can sense like when my energy is shifting and changing, right? And call me, like we said, the accountability and the calling in. And then I have a therapist and I can process like, oh shit, I felt like my voice wasn't being heard at our last time we were together, you know, and then I get to talk with one of our sisters, Nikki, about shadow work, right? Because this is about going deeper within yourselves. It's like you have the part about your sisterhood, but it's like, what work are you willing to do? And so being able to have those spaces where we're like, okay, I do have some insecure parts, and I do have some like, oh, I like how that guy looks at me and I like the attention, so I'm gonna do this thing. Like I do have those pieces. And being able to have a sisterhood that will hold you in those pieces so that you can kind of hold those pieces up and be like, thank you for serving me at the time that you did, because you were there for a reason, but I can let you go now. Like I'm this person now, right? And so your willingness to do that work within yourselves, your willingness to like be open and vulnerable with other folks, but also being very like having your boundaries, because you can't be open and vulnerable with everyone. And I would also say, like I said before, just like if you vibe with somebody and when you go into a breakout room or something like that, if there's something about them that speaks to that part of you, then that's a good flag too, to be like, you know what, I think I want to get to know them more.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, sis. And I just am remembering like a poem that I had wrote that was real short, but it said, sacred sisterhood will save us because it will teach us how to save ourselves. So like, I don't expect my sisters to save me. I just love how they help me to understand how I can save myself. And that's what helps us to move out of that codependency. And I want to end with this. Go ahead. You want to say one more thing? Go ahead, Nisha. Go ahead, Nisha. Then I'm going to take us home with the tunnel story. Y'all don't let me forget with the tunnel story. Okay, go ahead, Nisha.
And the last thing I'll say is surround yourself with some sisters that have some tools for them, right? Like in our circle, I have learned more about the benefits of stretching from Marilyn, about ways that we need to really move that energy through our body. I've learned more about my inner family through Ree and like the ways that I can call into those spaces. I've learned more about civic activism and how to have my voice and stand in my authenticity from Fadi. And I've learned more about like shadow work and all this, like that you guys see me doing, these stretching, these tappings from Nikki. It's like all of these are tools to help us get into our bodies, to be able to be grounded in ourselves. And so when you are building your community of your sacred sisterhood, get yourself grounded in what tool resonates with you, be that humming or breath work, and bring that into your sister circles, because all of that becomes like communal property.
Yes.
And it's so helpful in healing. But yeah.
Ashe, sis. Thank you. And Miss Mallory, I'm so sorry. We are way over time, but if you could please write in the chat and let us know, I would love to receive you in the chat. But I want to just end with this story of our retreat. We were walking in the rain, y'all. It was pouring raining at one of our retreats, and all our inner family members are just having our little umbrellas. And Farima, we get under this tunnel, and Farima's like, let's have a tunnel talent show. But it was really Rima. It was more so Farima's inner teenager who was like, let's have a talent show. So we are in Davis, California, under a tunnel, having a full-on talent show with all of our different inner family members. So Britt is like, I can finally be impressive for my friends. So she's rapping, stepping, dancing. My inner teen comes out with a poem. Farima come out singing Rain Down on Me from her choir days. Yada Denicia comes singing the 90s R&B, and Nikki is like a whole trained vocalist, and we didn't even know. And she sang the Little Mermaid part of that world. To this day, I be listening to that song all the time. So the spontaneity, I think, has also been such a gift. And that spontaneity comes from those inner family members, our inner child, our inner teenager, who we kind of make room for in our sisterhood. And that invites us into our healing arts, right? So like being under that tunnel, singing them songs, doing them dances, being in our creativity together, randomly, unexpectedly, invited us deeper into ourselves and deeper into our sisterhood as well.
Can I say one quick?
Go ahead, sis. Look,
Just want to say, when you hear the word retreat, it sounds real fancy. It sounds like, oh, I don't have the funds to do. I want to tell you, all these retreats were at people's houses. Like, it wasn't this like huge thing that we had to like pay for that was like super fancy. It's like, find a space and we're gonna make anything be a retreat, whether it be a tunnel. That can be where we have the retreat. Like, I just want to invite us into just understanding you can curate any space into a retreat. So don't let that feel daunting.
Thank you so much, sis, for clarifying that. Yeah, we be at little free houses, okay? Purchasing little groceries to feed 5. But yes, thank you, sis. And I'm just so grateful. It's like, bring your art supplies, bring your stuffed animals, bring your blankets and your house shoes. It's a retreat. That's all we need. So thank y'all. I'm just so grateful. This was a dream of mine for so long, and we did it. We made it happen. And thank y'all for real, for y'all patience. When it's church, you just got to let the spirit move, and you got to make room for the spirit to move. So I appreciate y'all for letting spirit move. Thank you so much to Yada Niche, to Little Bunny, to Dr. Niche, to Baby Fadi, to Rima with the J's at the TED Talk, to Dr. Farima, to our ancestors, to my inner family members. I just feel so grateful. And thank y'all, to the 80 of y'all who are here on this call, rocking with us, showing us love. We are so grateful. A few announcements. One, please drop in the chat, Niche and Fadi, let folks know how we can support you. Drop your information. If y'all have Cash Apps, Venmos, PayPal, so we could send some donations your way, okay? I invite all of us in the room, even if it's $1, $2, $5, whatever you got, just show some love. Also, Dana's going to be dropping in the chat a survey. Please fill that survey out, and that'll be an opportunity to also let our panelists know what resonated with you and send them love as well through that survey. And this is the first of 7 of our teaching series. So we are going to be back here next week with my mama. I told y'all I'm bringing my bestie week 1 and I'm bringing my mama week 2. So come through, same Zoom link, same time. We might go over time again, but I'm going to really try not to. But I'm so excited to be talking about matrilineal healing arts, intergenerational healing with my mom next week. I'm just making sure I ain't missed nothing. Okay, yeah. That was everything. I am so full, so grateful. Thank you to my students. I will see y'all in about 30 seconds in our other Zoom link. And I will just give folks a moment now to go ahead and fill out that survey. So I lied, y'all. I said 30 seconds. We're going to do about 2 minutes because I want folks to have a moment to fill out that survey. I'm going to play some tunes from our Black Girl Feel Good playlist, and we'll have some time to fill out that survey, and then we will break. This song is dedicated